Beautiful. I'm Anacani Walters, your wellness ally, whether you're juggling a busy lifestyle or stepping into the world of beautiful parenthood. This is your haven for joy, health, and balance. Join me as we explore effective tips and heartfelt insights on managing stress and nurturing wellness, designed for all you amazing people making it happen every day. From adrenal health to finding your zen amidst life's hustle, we're in this together. Hit subscribe, join our community, and let's embark on a journey towards a happier, healthier you.
Hey beautiful, and welcome to my channel. I'm Anacani Walters, and I am a yoga and women's wellness coach, and I'm going to share with you some realistic expectations about breastfeeding that really nobody's talking about, that I think we need to. So grab your cup of tea, cup of coffee, and let's dive in. So in the very beginning, those first few days after birth, your body's going to produce what's called colostrum. And that's essentially your body's breast milk that's yellow, it's thick, and it's called colostrum. It's basically packed with all kinds of nutrients and antibodies that your baby needs. And don't worry if there seems like there's not very much coming out. Your baby's stomach is super tiny, and just understand that the colostrum is exactly what they need. Now, you may experience engorgement and latching challenges in that first few weeks. Engorgement happens basically when your milk comes in and it makes your breasts essentially really full. They start to get heavy. Sometimes it can be very painful, and it is also common for you and your baby to struggle a little bit with latching in the beginning, especially if you're large breasted. Know that this is okay, that it is all part of the learning process. Now, for me, my son was born early, and I didn't know how much I should be producing. But when it was just like a cc in a little syringe, I was like crying because I literally felt like a failure. Like I couldn't even feed my own child. Like, what's wrong with me? Now, my milk supply did not drop very, right away. And so that kind of produced some problems. Luckily, I had a doula. And before we even, got close to being in the delivery phase, she actually showed my husband and I in one of our prenatal visits how to extract milk out of my breast manually. And had it not been for that, I would have been lost. And so if you don't have the opportunity or whatever to have a doula to help you with that beforehand, to just in case you need it, then I highly recommend that you ask for assistance in the hospital and see if you can get a consultation with a lactation consultant. They are amazing, especially if you're struggling. For me, my breasts were really large, he was really small, and so that really added to the challenge. But it was this feeling that I sucked as a mom right off the bat because I had no idea what I was doing. I was instantly traumatized from breastfeeding because that's basically when they had to rush him to the hospital or to the NICU. And I honestly was left feeling like I did something wrong. It had nothing to do with me, but just nobody was talking to me. Nobody was telling me what to do. I couldn't, there was hardly anything coming out. And in my mind, he needed a bottle full, but it was like, no, you just need, what you're producing is exactly what you need. So I just want to put that out there because in my mind, nobody told me what amount was appropriate. And my common sense was it's a baby, fully grown. It needs a full bottle, what you see on the videos and stuff. And it's no, it actually does not. So I just want to put that out there. So this leads me to the emotional roller coaster that you might experience when you start to breastfeed. There are emotional challenges that breastfeeding can produce, especially if it ends up being challenging for you. So you might feel overwhelmed, you might feel frustrated, or even weepy, and just know that these feelings are completely normal. Hormonal changes and the physical demands of breastfeeding while you're trying to figure out how to take care of a human can really take a toll on you. So what I would recommend is making sure that you have a really good support system, which is super crucial. And it can be whether it's your partner, a family member, a friend, or again, that lactation consultant. I want to make sure that you don't hesitate to reach out. And I really want to just encourage you to really utilize a lactation consultant or specialist if it's available to you. Because again, I asked for one while I was in the NICU to I needed that reassurance. She's like, you're doing everything that you're supposed to. And she kind of, guided me into some positions that didn't feel natural. It felt weird, but she kind of was showing me like, your breasts are really big, your nipples kind of bigger than, he's gonna be able to latch onto. These are some things that you can do. And so it really just kind of helped me. Now, one thing that I will pass on to you that she, bless her, told me while I was in the chair in the NICU trying to figure out how to feed my baby was, she's like, don't give up. It's gonna get hard. Just don't give up. If this is what you really want to do, it's part of your, your family's plan. Just know that you're doing an amazing job. It's not something that you can just pick up. There is a learning process to it. And when you think it's like you're done with it, it's just, it's been too hard. It's usually about the time where it tends to like get easier, and it just naturally happens. So I'm gonna tell you that because it did. It eventually just was like, it just was like I could do it anywhere. I was really comfortable with it. I knew his cues when he was hungry. He was able to latch, and if he had trouble, I knew what to do. It never really hurt. And so he is a little bit over 2. We are still breastfeeding. I think we're coming to the end of that journey though, but it's been a beautiful journey. I never thought I would enjoy breastfeeding as much as I did. It's been very bonding. It's been fun. There's been some instances where I was just like, like I can't keep doing this. Like, felt like I'm being used as like a trampoline, and I'm like, But there's just phases that they go through, and so they will let you know when they're ready. But it's really helped with my bonding with him, and it's been this really just special moment. So just sharing my little story. Now I want to make sure you have some realistic expectations on the feeding patterns. So your baby may want to feed very frequently, especially in the evenings. Now this is actually called cluster feeding, and it's totally normal. It's not very fun because you lose a lot of sleep, but it doesn't mean that your milk supply is low. It's really just that your baby's way of essentially boosting your milk production. So it just kind of depends. Now the duration of how long your baby may feed varies widely with each baby. Some babies are really quick eaters, finishing in like 10 minutes, while there's some, like my son, who can literally take up to 45 minutes to feed. So you really are gonna need to listen to your baby's cues rather than actually watching the time clock, which is what some people get caught up doing. Now for me, 45 minutes, that's a really long time. And then when you think like, okay, we're done, and then I'm like looking at like literally an hour and a half, and then he's gonna want to feed again. It was pretty exhausting, but know that it gets better. The feedings become less frequent as they tend to grow older, and depending on your family's plan of how long you're going to be breastfeeding, and then, if you decide to breast pump, if you're gonna have to go back to work, those kinds of things will play a factor in that. So just wanted to give you that little bit of just, 411. So just a couple things: nipple pain and care. So in the beginning, you might experience some nipple pain. This actually tends to often be alleviated when you learn proper latching techniques. So it's not supposed to be painful. And sometimes you will need to have some nipple care and take care of the nipples afterwards, depending on how much you're struggling in the beginning. Now, breastfeeding in public. Know that you I know that it can be daunting to feed in public, but remember that you have every right to feed your baby wherever and whenever you want, especially when they're hungry. So you want to practice at home, maybe try different nursing covers or clothes that really help make you more comfortable. And at the end of the day, it really is up to you. Like, to me, my husband was not necessarily comfortable with me just breastfeeding like in public, but I was like, I'm not gonna make him wait. And like, you know, he was more concerned of like who would be watching, like big old freaks. But I'm like, there's people that get upset when they have to wait, 10, 20, 30 minutes before they get seated when they're hungry to go to a restaurant. I'm not about to do that to my baby. He's hungry now and I'm gonna feed him. So I felt very comfortable breastfeeding in public. To like help him in certain situations, I would wear a little, I had a sling carrier, and so it just naturally transformed itself into like a breastfeeding cover, and it was fine. But sometimes it ended up being more distracting for my son than it was useful, because he would like move it, and so sometimes it wasn't even worth trying. But I will just let you know that everybody has their own preference, their own comfortable level. I never thought that I would be a mom or a woman who would be comfortable just busting out my boob to breastfeed. But it's like this whole nother mindset when you actually know that it's because your baby's hungry and you're not about to like tell them, I'm sorry baby, but you can't eat. Like, no, my baby's hungry, I'm gonna feed him right now. And I'm not like super inappropriate with it. I'm very still conservative, but I'm not like, I don't have any qualms about breastfeeding in public or in front of, other people. And so to each their own, do what feels good to you. You got this. So this is baby Nancy. If you've been to any of my toddler and me or baby and me yoga classes, you're very familiar with her beautiful self and flexible self. So I just wanted to add this in. So the most common way is essentially their arm is under your arm, your arm is under theirs. They're usually draped across and you're like this. So for me, I had to basically kind of compress my nipple between these two fingers, or kind of just hold it, like that, so that it makes it manageable. And then, you switch to the other side so that, they're usually wanting both, and then they feed. When my son was in the NICU, my breast to his mouth was just too big for him. And so they had me have a lactation kind of, mine was like a Frida thing, but I used whatever they had at the hospital in the NICU, and it was what they call like a football. So like, if you think like a football player, they have the football like this, and they're running towards, the end zone. And that's essentially what it was, except he laid on this little thing. I moved it to the side. Normally it's like this big pillow, and I was here, and then it kind of helped me guide. And for whatever reason, this was our spot. This is like how we, made it happen, at least in the first few weeks. And then I had to try to go back to this because the other way just didn't feel comfortable. Now, even this way was just a struggle. And, because it was 45 minutes, like if I was in the sitting position or whatever, I didn't have like a rocking chair or something. And so it was a lot. It was a lot to just feel like I'm hunched over and pulling my shoulders back. So just try to do that every now and again, or as you're switching them, to really pull your shoulders back. Eventually though, as he got bigger, my goal was to feed until he was 2. And so it's, just something that is out there in terms of information. If you talk to nutritionists who are up to date with the most current information, is that it is recommended to try to breastfeed if you're going to breastfeed up until the age of 2 to get the most benefit. And so I was like, okay, I have a goal date. Literally, I thought that I would never make it past 1 year, but 1 year came and went, and here we are at 2.5 years, and I'm still breastfeeding. But he started to get pretty big And that became like a big problem because the pillow that I was using to support his weight was getting too big to the point where like he was up here and it wasn't working. So then I had to go without, and then I was basically carrying his weight, and it was a lot. So the lifesaver for me, which nobody told me was an option, was literally to lie on my side and breastfeed like this. And actually, this is how we practice Savasana, the final relaxated position in baby and yoga. And so it's it was a game changer. And so then we switched from literally 3 to 4 times a day, pretty much every time this is how I put him to sleep. This is how he would breastfeed to wake up. And I just would take a nap sometimes. Sometimes I would just take that moment and just do some deep breaths and relax while he was doing his thing and getting his vitamins. So I'm just wanting to show that to you. And then literally for me, some people go on both sides. For me, I would start with the breast on the top. So I would be like this more or less and just kind of support him. And then I would delatch with my finger and then switch boobies. He's now at the point where he understands instructions, and so I will tell him switch boobies and he'll delatch himself, and I'll reposition myself to give him the second breast. So again, whether you choose to breastfeed exclusively or not, whether you choose to breastfeed and bottle feed, whether you choose to just bottle feed, like you have to make the decision. There's so many factors that come into play. Know that whatever works, is best for your family. That's for you to decide. Don't let society, don't let other people's judgment make those decisions for you or make you feel bad for your decision. You are doing the best you can, and that is enough. And so I hope that this helped. This is what helped us. This is how I'm still continuing to breastfeed. Again, my son's 2.5. I do believe that just based off of his cues, right now, literally, I'm just feeding on demand, and it's mostly just for comfort. So anyways, I hope you found this very, very helpful, and good luck in your own journey. Now, to wrap this up in your breastfeeding journey, know that it comes with its own set of challenges and triumphs for everybody. It's okay to feel overwhelmed and to ask for help. You're doing an amazing job, okay? And I just want to let you know that the struggle is real. It's not something that you can just, pick up. Sometimes it does take some challenge, some growing pains. For me, it was 6 weeks. 6 weeks before we really felt comfortable and I knew what I was actually doing, and it was like nothing. So I hope this helped with your own journey of breastfeeding. Know that you're not alone in the journey. If you like this video, if it gave you some, confidence, or you learned something new, please give it a like, a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me for support when you need it. Remember that you've got this. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any other things that you would like to see more information on or need more support on, please leave that in the comment or reach out to me, email me, whatever feels good for you so that I can actually make those videos. Now, just know that again, you're doing the best you can, and that, beautiful, is enough. Inhale the peace, exhale the chaos, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Are you on the path to a more vibrant and fulfilling life? Then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You have the power to transform your life. Let's start that journey now. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and remember, your journey to a happier, healthier you starts right here. See you in the next video.